Welcome to Integrity Inspire, your daily dose of inspiration and motivation, featuring the bright and talented members of the Integrity Marketing Group family. Now, here's your host, Integrity co-founder and CEO, Brian W. Adams.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for the Inspire podcast this morning. We're so excited about the opportunity to visit with some just amazing people. And you know, a number of our integrity partners have started out as family businesses and have started out really from nothing and have built these businesses into something that are truly admirable throughout the country. And the Assurance Group is one of those. And when the Assurance Group joined the Integrity family this past week, it was one of those exciting announcements that we just had such an incredible response to, about people really realizing about two industry titans coming together and really looking for ways to better serve Americans with their life and health insurance needs. And so today we have the honor of hearing from the co-owners of TAG, or the Assurance Group, Ed and Beverly Shackelford, as well as the Chief Marketing Officer, Mr. Curt Klein. TAG is headquartered in Archdale, North Carolina, and the Assurance Group's career agency network operates in 30 regional office locations throughout the United States and serves over 70,000 Americans annually. The group has over 600 career agents in these 30 offices and over 5,000 brokerage agencies or agents that work with them on their senior market product needs, such as life insurance, Medicare products, and other annuity products and other senior market focused products. TAG has over 120 full-time employees and generates over $250 million a year in annualized premium. And it has been so much fun partnering with the Shackelfords and getting to know them even better. I've known Ed and Curt and the team for a long time, but getting to know them and spend time with them through this process has been just so rewarding on a personal level. And it's going to be so much fun even on a business level as well. And what they've done really reflects a lot of the integrity core values like family, service, and integrity and partnership overall. And so we're incredibly excited to hear from Ed and Beverly and Curt today. So guys, thank y'all so much for joining and welcome to the Inspire podcast.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Brian.
Well, Ed, man, first of all, thank you. Thank you for trusting us and joining the Integrity family. I know that wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't something you guys took lightly. And man, I remember going all the way back to, I'm trying to remember if it was 2005 or 2006. We had just kind of started Integrity, and we were coming up with this idea of if we all came together, we could all accomplish more. And I'll never forget, there's certain moments in my career that just stick out to me. And this is one of those. I remember always hearing about what you were building and what just the success that you guys had and just the admiration from afar. I never met you, but I remember getting a call. I was literally at a chiropractor and I was getting adjusted and my back was getting popped, and I was getting adjusted. I get this phone call on my cell phone, and it was from Dwayne Vestal, and I'd heard Dwayne's name through working with you, and I remember telling the doctor, "Hey, I'm sorry, man, I got to take this." He's like, "Hey, well, I'm not through." And I was like, "Well, we're done for now because I got to take this call." And it was one of those moments that I remember answering the call, and Dwayne and you kind of talking to me and just saying, hey, we just heard what you were creating at Integrity, and we'd like to get together and talk a little bit more about what we're doing at TAG and what you're doing at Integrity. And would you guys come out and see us? Do you remember that call, Ed?
Boy, I sure do, Brian, and that takes us back in time, doesn't it? But yes, I do. And that was a great event, and I just applaud you, man, because you really took this idea and really ran with it. And I've always admired you as well. And I like to tell people we kind of all grew up in the business together. But boy, I sure would like to have that youth right now back then that we all have had.
Well, I remember. First of all, me too. I remember me and Tom Sheath and Mike Wingate, Dan McNerney and Shep Cutler, who all were putting together Integrity at the time. We all flew to North Carolina, and we met at this amazing resort called the Grandover, if you remember that. I think it's right outside of your hometown, if I'm not mistaken. And we sat down, and in fact, Curt, I think you were there as well. So it was like, I remember the room, I remember the setup. It was Curt, it was Dwayne, it was you, and there was the rest of us from Integrity. And we sat down, and we talked about this vision, about what we could create, this idea of creating this idea. If we all came together, if we checked our egos at the door, we stopped trying to beat each other up and compete, and we looked at ways that we could come together and support each other and have scale, that we could accomplish so much more. And that was before we had this dream. And I think that was before we had ever even made one sell at Integrity. It was literally a dream. And you had built this amazing business at TAG. In fact, I remember going through your mailroom and all the things that you had built there and going, oh my gosh. And I remember you saying, listen, this will only work if you're all owners and you can all kind of do this like all in. I think I remember you saying exactly that, is you all got to be all in. And so fast forward to your point, I was a lot skinnier back then, and I had a lot more hair, and a lot more energy for sure. But man, it is amazing to have watched everything you guys have done and what we've been trying to accomplish, and really, and I think you would agree, everything we talked about that day is kind of exactly what we're still doing today. And so this is one of those moments of us coming together that I look at and go, man, it was meant to be. It just had to happen in its own time. And now we can have a lot of fun together, and that's for sure.
Absolutely. That was a great time. And again, Brian, it goes to you and your leadership, and just knowing you and all the folks that you've hung out with and grew up with in this industry. So just the who's who of the insurance industry, man. It was really, really thinking about how all this came together. Just, you never can figure out quite how life's going to treat you, but it's just been really good up to this point, and always admired, what's going on here.
Well, I appreciate that. And man, I've always admired what you and Beverly and Curt and the rest of the team have been building at the Assurance Group for so long. I mean, you guys have built something just incredible. And for us to be able to partner together, it's one of the most humbling things I get to do, is partner with these amazing businesses and look at ways that we can come together and grow faster. But I know you guys have an incredible backstory. You guys truly are like the American dream. Y'all started this business from scratch, right? I mean, you weren't born with the silver spoon in your mouth and you changed it to platinum, really. I mean, it was, you guys really started from scratch, right? So would you tell us a little bit more about your background and kind of growing up and how you guys got started here?
I sure can, Brian, and thank you so much. I'm just honored and humbled to be here with you this morning and have a cup of coffee with you. But yes, I'll tell you a little bit, try to make it short. We've come a long ways. I am so proud, Brian, of everybody at tag and leads to success, and what they've been able to help us build here. It is just really amazing. And really, we are so honored to be part of the Integrity family. So I want to again say thanks for that. But just a little bit of history on me, and then I'll give you a little bit on Beverly. You know, I was born, you know, in High Point, North Carolina, and it was the High Point was big in the textile business. And so my grandfather on my mother's side was the head fixer at the Amos family, and hosiery was real big in this area. So I kind of, you know, went to high school, and my father brought us up, you know, playing sports. And so we played baseball, football, basketball, and he was kind of a coach and coached all of us. And then when I got in my junior and senior year in high school, my parents kind of fell on some hard times. And so I kind of gave up on sports and asked my grandfather to, you know, teach me to fix knitting machines so that I could help my parents out a little bit. And so I got on what they call, I guess, a work release program at high school, where I'd get out, you know, at lunchtime, and then I'd go punch that clock at 3 o'clock and work from 3 to 11. And I did that for a couple of years while I graduated from high school. And then my parents got to doing better again and all that. So instead of going to college, I said, well, I told my grandfather, I said, well, you think you can get me a job somewhere else too? And so I just started working 16-hour days being a mechanic. And then I found out that, you know, that was pretty tough work. But, you know, I did that for about 7 years. And then someone said, hey, you got a great personality. With a little bit of your free time, why don't you go and get your insurance license? And so I said, yeah, I got Sundays. And so I studied real hard and went and got my insurance license, and you know, and then it went from there. But what I'd like to do is let Beverly talk a little bit about her humble beginnings here too. And so, do you want to jump in there, honey, and tell them a little bit about you and how we met and all that good stuff?
Oh my gosh! Hey, Brian. Hey, team.
Hey, Beverly. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Speaking is not my forte, but we'll give it a shot here. I met Ed actually when I was 17 years old, and took him to my senior prom. I'll never forget it. And when I met him, he was working second and third shift, just like he said. So we didn't really get to see each other a whole lot in our dating life. That's probably why we ended up getting married, because we weren't together too much. But then Ed got to selling insurance, and what he eventually did was gave up his second shift job. He'd work third, come home in the morning, sleep while I would make calls and set appointments for him for group businesses, and then he'd get up and run his appointments and then work third shift again. So it was sort of a crazy cycle, and we ended up having twins with no health insurance, and so we had no choice but to work and try to grow something, and started in the garage with a old rotary dial telephone and a phone book, making calls. And it sort of used to feel a little intimidated when we first started getting around, you know, other people in the insurance business, and everybody's talking about their college degrees and, you know, their success. And we're looking at each other like we just barely graduated high school. And we used to talk about we needed to make up a good story before we went to college, but never did that either. But just to reiterate just what Ed always says, if you get up early and go to bed late, and you find a job or a career that you're passionate about, it's not a job. You know, Ed always says he's just a work, a hobby, and that's exactly who he is. And I will say this, Brian, once the announcement went out this week, we've just gotten a crazy amount of texts and phone calls and emails of congratulations. But there was one that just sticks out in my mind that we got from actually an old carrier rep and actually an old employee of ours. And he made the comment on his text. He was like, I'm so proud of you. He said, you've run your business on integrity, and how fitting for you and Ed to join a company that's name is Integrity Marketing Group. So that was just sort of like a 360 come back around to everything that y'all talked about building for years. So we're excited to be here.
That is such a great story. You know, one of the things I found, and we've got I would say the majority of partners that that we have didn't go to college or, didn't start, or they started with really humble beginnings. And they've just built these businesses just out of just incredible hard work and humility. And really that's what we found, is that those have been really the two keys to success that we found. And this Inspire podcast is the common thread has been a lot of hard work and humility from some just great people who just needed to provide for their families. Now, I think when we were together the other day, you were talking about you guys started this business really with nothing, right? And you were actually even you started this business out of your garage. Is that right?
That is right, Brian. We started out of the garage, and I like to tell stories, and we recruit a lot. And I've got a good friend of mine that we brought in to help us recruit. And he says people never remember facts and figures, but they remember success stories. So I think it's important, to share with folks, where you start and where you come from, because those are, I think, stories that give hope, to the new people coming in. But yeah,
right.
Out of the garage, you got to have, as a strong work ethic. And so when I'm talking to agents about or people that's never gotten in this industry, I talk about, hey, if you have a strong work ethic, if you are a good person and you have integrity, what I've always tried to do is, sell the dream. I fell in love with this business, really, really in love with this business. And, and if you put that and passion and hard work and always remember to stay humble and kind. I mean, those are the core, to me, the core of this business. And I tell people, hey, dream big. And then we always try to share the TAG story, just a little bit about TAG. We started out in the employee benefit side. I remember me and Dwayne met each other when we were 13 at a place called Archdale Soda Shop. And we used to have the jukebox there, and, we played music, and we would race each other out to the cars and, wait on. It was a hamburger hot dog place and a cool place to hang out. And Dwayne used to always beat me. He's always been better looking than me, faster than me, and, all the above. But we just became really good friends. And so when I got in this business, man, I went and grabbed him, and, we started out, we used to be called Piedmont Brokerage in the beginning years. And, we kind of grew up doing employee benefits. And then, there was this thing called universal health care. And I'm thinking, gosh, we went out here and built this big employee benefit group. We insured over 1,000 accounts around the area. And we fell in love with the community and the people. And we really had, it's kind of like one of these we shop, you save type things on their benefits and things like that. So when that was going around and politics happened, be what it is, we said, man, we need to change. We're liable to go out of business here. I remember me and Dwayne talking about that. And so we switched over to this thing called Final Expense. And then we went and started a lead company, Leads to Success. And I had no idea what a lead was early on. I mean, everything we ever done was just with cold call. And so we started out and we grew that thing up to $50 million in sales a year of Final Expense. And that was fantastic. And then just to give you a little bit more history, we jumped over to a thing called Medicare Advantage. And we got an exclusive with United Healthcare, and pretty much everybody in the industry that sold Medicare Advantage in 04, 05, 06 came through, Archdale, North Carolina. And I changed that to LA to make it sound a little bit bigger, Lower Archdale. So we grew that thing to something big. And very big. We did a couple of billion in sales, and that thing, shot us to the moon. And And then we changed from there as, that started off 12 months. We could all sell that 12 months out of the year. And eventually it worked down to 7 weeks. And we said, man, we got to do something a little bit differently so we can work 12 months out of the year. And so we got into this career shop that we started. And boy, I got to tell you, Brian, that thing, the talent that we have here at TAG, that thing really, really took off on us. And, but we're so humble and just proud to be here at the Integrity family. And I tell you, everything seems to be lining up. We have this little thing that we talk about being an all-in person, and TAG has been built around all in. And I'm not just talking about drinking the Kool-Aid at the insurance group, but all in to us really talks about who do you want to be as you're growing up in this business? What kind of person are you becoming? To be a good father, to be a good husband or a good spouse, or, be a good guy in the community, and also to be all in your business. And we took that culture and just built around this thing called, TAG all in. And boy, that really helped us. I mean, culture is everything. And so, and the talent that we have here, I can't imagine what's going to happen as the talent here meets up with the who's who of what you guys have put together. But I love the fact that, I remember when you started Integrity, I thought, what a name, what a statement. So kudos, man. We're so happy to be here. But that's a little bit about how we got our humble beginnings.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what you guys have built from such humble beginnings, and that hard work and humility, and how much that pays off, and that all-in kind of attitude. And I know, one of your amazing leaders, Curt Klein, your chief marketing officer, he's one of the most all-in guys I've ever met. Curt, you're on with us today, man. I've been just inspired watching how you are always just so professional and all in about how are we going to grow this, and aggressively looking at growing faster. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how, kind of the keys to success that you've got there.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing great, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me here. And Ed, Beth, thanks for having me here also. I mean, a little bit about myself. I've been doing this about 30 years. I got into the business, I think, accidentally, like a lot of us. Before I got into the insurance business, I was a Chamber of Commerce executive. And we started a group benefits program for our members. And it just took off like wildfire. And I remember the president of Blue Cross Blue Shield of Ohio sitting in my office saying, "You'd be great in the insurance business." And I said, "Oh, you can't afford me." And he made me an offer, and the next day I was in the insurance business. So that's how I got into the insurance business. But, the insurance group is an amazing place. I guess I got started out, but mine's kind of a funny story because, before I really became an employee of TAG, I became a friend of Ed and Beverly's. When I first met Ed 16 and a half years ago, I was enamored. I'd really not met anybody like Ed in this business. He was, unpretentious. He was sincere. He was very unassuming. And I could tell kind of right from the start that he had a gift, because he made every conversation he ever had. Any time I was in a conversation with him with somebody else, it was always about them, never about Ed. And at that point, Ed had achieved a great amount of success in the business. So, and of course, then I met Bev and kind of fell for Bev, of course, and then the twins, and then the grand boys, Jackson and Wes. And so it's almost like I became part of the family before I really became an employee. And so I get inspired just because of that, to be a part of the family. And then we've just tried to grow TAG as one big family. And, when you talk about our career division, We started out about 8 years ago. We've been in business 33 years, but we started out on a different path 8 years ago. And we went from zero premium, zero offices, zero structure, no back office. And fast forward, almost 8 years later, as you said, 600 agents, 30 regional offices. We've got a back office that rivals anybody. But our issue is we were growing so fast. I'd lay awake at night thinking about scalability until we keep up with it. And then all of a sudden, integrity comes along and our problem solves.
Well, we're excited. We're excited to help scale and grow fast. So it's one of the biggest things that we focus on. But we want to do it the right way. And Ed, you and Beverly, I mean, you guys have built your business really based on the golden rule, right? And tell us a little bit more about your passion about. So it's one thing to grow a business and grow it fast, but it's another thing to grow it fast and do it the right way, which is what we're really focused on here at Integrity. So tell us a little bit more about your kind of passion about the golden rule and how you try to live your life by that.
Yeah, it's biblical, and we like to share with folks when we're trying to recruit people into the industry that we live by one rule, and you can grow a business on this, you can grow a family on this, you can raise a community on this, and treat others as you'd want to be treated. And so that is really, really all I think we have ever needed. And so it's just a great way to work this industry. And then, we like to share with folks, you find something that you love to do. And, I fell in love with this business. I know Curt has, Beverly has, everybody at TAG, I think, is in love with this industry and what it can do for individuals. And so, we really fell in love with this thing called insurance. And I like to, joke around with Beverly that, I fell in love with this business a long time ago because it does such great things for all of us. And outside of her, Miss Insurance is my mistress. I'm a workaholic, and so working in the business, and then she's like, well, that better be all. That better be the only other mistress you have. But no, it's a wonderful thing, Brian. And if you take a look at how it's affected so many people in a positive way. And it's just fun to do this. I get excited. We get up early. We go to bed late because we're passionate about this industry and about its people and what everybody's doing in this industry. So it's a wonderful place to be.
Beverly, you have a competitor. You've got Miss Insurance, I heard you say, as his mistress, and my wife, I think, feels like that a lot as well. Oh man, that's funny.
It's amazing though when you're in the insurance business how consuming it can be. It's just like it consumes you, and not in a bad way, but like in a good way. And like I said, we're just glad to be part of the team, and it's crazy. I've always said how big the insurance industry is, and it's still such a small community. And when you look at all the partnerships that you've acquired, and it's like you start looking, I know that guy, I've seen that name or that lady, and they don't trip with carriers, and it's just always amazing me of what a great industry it is, and at the same time what a small world it is out there.
Well, I agree completely, and I mean this is a big family business. You guys have such a great family business, and leads to success. I mean, you guys send out over 1 million leads a week, and your daughters, Brittany and Brooke, are both involved in that business, and what you guys have created there, Beverly, has been is incredible. In addition to TAG, right?
Absolutely. That lead company has been a great sister company for TAG, and a big part of the growth. And as most people know, if you don't have leads, you're not working most of the time. So it's been a great marriage of those two companies together, and now with integrity.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, family is such a big part of everything we're doing here, and certainly true for TAG. And we feel like this is just a perfect fit overall. And so when we had the opportunity to, Curt, I remember you calling me one evening, and you said, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
you just seen another announcement," and you said, "Hey, like we had never intended on selling ever, but we want to talk to you about partnering." And what was it about that made you make that call that night? That I remember telling you, "I'll drop everything I'm dealing with to have this conversation. Let's figure out how we can get together as soon as possible." What was it though that attracted you to join the Integrity platform?
Well, it's funny. Ed and I would, we talk 20 times a day. We work 18 hours a day. But part of what we do is we pay attention to the competitive landscape. And as we're doing that, we just kept seeing integrity. And as you start seeing all the things that you were doing, you start to pay closer attention. And finally, you have that kind of, oh crap moment where you say, we really should find out what's going on here. So I think it was maybe being a little bit frightened, maybe being frightened to some degree that we may be, overtaken at some point, just being unable to compete. And then that kind of goes away when you start looking at the folks that you have partnered with. And so the call was really made out of, it sounds like they're doing something really terrific here, and we don't want to miss out. And I think that was the reason for the call.
Well, we're so glad you did call, and really the commonality and really kind of going back to our founding, that what we had really done when we first sat down and talked about integrity and TAG and the opportunity we kind of saw in the business. If we could come together, we can accomplish more. And I just can't wait to see Ed and Beverly and Curt what all we can accomplish. And at the end of the day, how many more people we can help and serve with these important products that will really transcend us, right? I mean, most of these people won't ever realize that we had a part in it. But whenever they need those products the most, they'll be able to have them because of the work we're doing today. And by joining forces, we'll be able to help even more people together. And we're just honored to be partners with you guys. And so, Ed, Beverly, Curt, thank you so much for trusting us and believing in us and partnering with us. This opportunity to grow together is going to be a whole lot of fun. And we're just proud to all be part of the same family now.
Thank you,
Brian. Thanks so much. Thank you.
Well, thank you,
Brian,
guys.
Can I add one thing before you move on?
Yeah, please.
As Ed and Beverly said, this has been an amazing experience, getting to know you better and the whole Integrity team. And I got to tell you, Ed and I have been communicating, as you can imagine, a lot with our folks over the last several weeks as our partnership became more apparent. And it's been a fun experience. We've got terrific people here. We've got great leaders here. And there's so much to talk about when you talk about what the Integrity platform can add to what TAG's doing. And I've heard you say it a bunch of times and describe it as, the integrity effect. I've heard it described as the integrity lift. But we've taken a whole bunch of talented people at TAG, our agents, our leadership team, our home office folks. And as we talk about all the things that integrity is going to add to our culture, to our platform, we just found it's pretty easy. We got a lot of talented people. We tell them about all these new tools, and now we just have a whole lot of excited people. So it has been an amazing experience as we get kicked off here.
This is the feel about what we're going to be able to do together. And so combined, I cannot wait to see what we can do. So thank you all for joining us today. It's been a blessing and honor to be partners together and also share your story. So thank you guys for trusting us and joining Integrity.
Thank you, Brian.
We're excited. Thanks, Brian.
All right.
Hey, Brian,
Well, thanks everybody.
Thanks for helping us tell our story today. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey,
man.
thank you for being such great people and sharing your story. Well, hey, thanks everybody. Hope everybody has a wonderful week. Have a lot of fun. Let's work hard and help a lot of people. And I hope everybody just has an incredible week. God bless you all, and we'll talk to you soon.